So basically, these are the areas we have covered so far. I'm pretty sure you can remember, like, so from the day one, so we discuss, software development life cycle, and also we discuss basically DevOps, right? A lot of things we discuss under DevOps. So what are the key areas and how do you basically the pros and cons on DevOps, and as well as CI/CD. Okay, what are the tools and technologies we used in CI/CD, and also we discuss about Kubernetes and AWS. Lot of things I think under AWS we Indika covered I think almost everything I would say. So and also we discuss about architecture styles, as you can remember, right? So many different architecture styles we discuss, and especially microservices and basically tool stack, like we discuss Spring Boot, what are the benefits and why we need the Spring Boot, and also we covered I think during last session we covered the Jenkins and Spinnaker. So and I would say like we have basically covered almost everything in this technologies that we are planning to use in this diagram, the deployment architecture. So I hope you remember, right? This is our target deployment basically architecture, and so we are planning to like um, uh, deploy a Spring Boot application through CI/CD into Kubernetes, right? Kubernetes cluster. So we created a 3-node Kubernetes cluster and on AWS. So and then we are like trying to basically implement. We had it like plan to implement observability using Elk and Prometheus. So this is basically our target deployment that we need to achieve at the end of this program. So and so basically during next few sessions we are basically planning to cover. I mean, we have basically covered all the theory part, I would say, right? So we discussed the tools and technology in high level, but we want to more focus on implementation part, right? So that means the next few sessions will be really interesting because you can really see and you can experience and you can basically get hands on how to achieve and I mean how we can install and configure this industry standard tools and technologies. And we are basically targeting to create again a CI/CD pipeline, and also at the end we are planning to implement observability using Elk and Prometheus Grafana. That's that. So this is kind of a high level sessions, I would say, but even during this session, so even though I haven't mentioned, so we will be discussing Docker. So and there are a lot of bits and bits that we can actually discuss during these sessions. So um, I'm pretty sure now we are like came to up to level we stopped few weeks back. Uh, so we have Milind actually. He is ready to demonstrate. Has created an application, microservice application, and deployed in AWS environment. So over to you, Milinda. You can basically start your demonstration.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Let me share my screen. I think uh, disable is sharing. Sorry. Yeah, you have to enable the sharing.
Yeah, let me.
Think
Yeah, I will make you as a host.
host disable participants.
Yes. Can I try now?
Yeah, got it. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. So let me share my screen.
We can see your screen, Milind. We lost Milind, I guess.
Hello, sorry guys. So I was not. Kapil, can we?
I think,
Hello.
yeah, 1 second, we lost now. Lakshit, I think, sorry, Darshana, right? Darshana, you are host now. Can you just make Milind as a host?
Okay, I will do.
Yeah, okay. Thank you guys. So let me share my screen again.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Is okay. So hey guys, thank you for joining today's session on how we can build Spring Boot Angular application which following the microservice architecture. Okay, so and how we can deploy on AWS environment. Okay, so my name is Milind. So this is I think my presentation for you guys. So just to recap about this microservice architecture. So in simple term, this microservice architecture, I mean, offering way to break down a complex software system into a smaller and independent components. Okay, so and these components referred to as microservice, where we can develop, deploy, and maintain independently. Okay, so as I mentioned, so today's session we will explore these key tools and technologies and how we can build and deploy uh, microservice. And yeah, so moving to the application, yeah, agenda. So this is the agenda in today's session. So first, I will begin with introducing the application that I have already built uh, and giving you context about it. Okay. And secondly, we'll discuss the key technologies and the tools that will be central to our discussion, including Spring Boot, Angular, and AWS. Yeah. So after that, we can move into the high-level architecture of our microservice-based application and understanding how these technologies work together to create a scalable application. Okay. Finally, to make this, I mean, to make everything come to a real picture, I'll show you how this and the technology uh, come together scenario we are targeting to build our build our app, how we can deploy AWS. Okay, so moving to the application overview. So guys, here mainly we have service that I have created with the car list. Okay, and where we can see the list of locations. We have this reservation microservice where the car service can des destination in this tree service and the discovery service. So this API gateway is mainly working as a single entry point uh, to access the backend services to the front end. Okay, I will explain now. We have this instance made yeah, I think hey guys, sorry, actually I think I performed the call. So can someone make me a host again? Tarindu or Lakshita, are you guys able to make me a host?
Sorry, it's me. 1 minute.
Yes.
Yeah. Check now.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. So guys, what was the, last part that you guys hear?
I think we were discussing about agenda.
Okay.
Yeah. You can start basically from next slide. Yeah, sorry, here, this one, application overview. I think you discuss,
Yeah.
you explain this microservice, right? So, and also you explain API gateway and discovery
Okay.
service, as I remember. I think
Oh,
you can start from front end development.
front end. Great.
So basically, it's like this team, like Milinda has created three microservices. As you can see, car microservice, location microservice, reservation. Right? So those are the microservices he has developed, and he has deployed this in AWS environment. And as well, and also, I think we learned right in microservice architecture you can find the key components, right? So for example, API gateway. Those are the key services that you can find in microservice architecture, and also discovery service. So these services basically the gateway and discovery service they have like benefits. So there's a reason behind that. So why we need these services? For example, API gateway is gate the entry point to your basic application, right? And also discovery is the one who actually the registry, right? Registry of all the services you have in microservice architecture. It's a kind of a registry. So likewise, I mean, here you also you can see right, and in this description column, he has explained the basically the each item in high level, and the front end development. So front end basically it's a I think it's a Angular, right, Melinda? Angular.
Yeah, Angular.
Okay, it's Angular front end. He has developed Angular application as a front end. Yes. So yes, go ahead, Melinda.
Sure. So, guys, here front end application. we are going to have three pages, mainly home page, car page, and the reservation. So I will show this in uh, the real application. Okay. For now, just to get an high level idea, like these are the services which we have, and yeah, the front end tools and the technologies. So here, mainly I have developed this application with Angular 11, the front end part, and backend microservices developed with the Spring Boot 2.7 version, and the Java API gateway and the service registry. We are going to use, I have used these two dependencies, which comes with Spring Boot Cloud. Okay. So apart from that, yeah, we have Apache Maven 3.8.1 as a package manager. So we are going to build a Spring Boot application with the Apache Maven package manager. Okay. So and we have MySQL 8.0 as a database management system, and we are going to, uh, I have created the database on top of it. Okay. And this AWS EC2 and the Apache HTTP server is mainly needed for the deployment. So we are going to deploy application on the AWS EC2 environment. Okay. And yeah, I will show you guys like how we can utilize these tools when we come into the deployment. Okay. And finally, we have these tools. Okay. So VS Code, I think maybe most of you guys know about the VS Code. Okay. So and WinSCP for file sharing purpose. So here actually this we are going to use for uh, to uh, copy your whatever files you have in your local machine, you can copy into the virtual machine using WinSCP. Okay, so this is these WinSCP and the VS Code. Those tools are freely available. You can download from the internet. Okay, and we have HDSQL as a SQL ID. Like once you create a database using this tool, you can perform some SQL operation using this tool. Okay, so this is the these are the technologies and the tools that we need to have here. So just to get some understanding of, so how many you guys know about Angular and the Spring Boot? Uh, and the AWS EC2. If you guys are familiar, then you can just yeah, raise hand. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, many,
Yeah.
most of them may have actually understanding on Java and
Yeah.
is it AWS, right?
Yes.
So AWS must be aran yang watura wage because we have done so many things, right? We have discussed so many things in AWS, right? And also I'm pretty sure Angular, I mean high level because we haven't covered, but not really sure. Some they have like understanding on Angular. Spring Boot, yes, we discuss. Other than that, like MySQL, yes, I think, yeah. We discuss in high level, but not in session. Like we asked them to study on MySQL,
Oh,
and last three actually, VS Code. I mean, it's nothing but I say IDE. I'm pretty
I
sure most of you have like yes use Eclipse, right? This is kind of similar IDE developed by Microsoft. And WinSCP is a kind of like it's a SFTP tool where you can copy or transfer file from your Windows machine to Linux, right? So using WinSCP. ADSQL is obviously it's a client tool for MySQL database. So I mean there are a lot of tools available in the market. You can basically use to connect to MySQL database. Hades is a free and open source one. Yeah, but Spring Cloud API and Eureka services, these two, I think I feel it's fairly new. And I mean, if
New
you
year.
still, yeah, if you guys still, I mean, not really sure about these tools, make sure you note all of them down and then you search on Google, try to get an idea. Okay, then yeah, little bit comfortable after that. Yeah, yes.
Yeah, definitely. Oh,
If you have any doubts, just ask, please, team. If you want to basically explain or if you want to like discuss anything here, please ask.
yeah. So with this tools, like I mean, application model and the tables and the technologies. Do you have any question, uh, guys? So we can move into the next. Okay. So now let's have a look at the overall solution architecture. Okay. So yeah. As I mentioned, so let's first look at these three microservices. Okay. Um, we have car service, which is talking to a MySQL database, as well as there is a communication to a location microservices. Sorry, a location microservice. Okay. So, and the same way we have this location microservice as well as reservation microservice. So here I think you guys learn about the microservice architecture, and maybe uh, here you will have some doubt about why I am using a single database instead of multiple database. Okay, so since this is a microservice architecture, okay, so we are able to use multiple databases, but that's not a required thing to have. Okay, so here even in my database there are no relations between each table. Okay, so all the communication would be done through this service communication. And for example, uh, let's take uh, let's assume user select car in advance to view the car details before make a reservation. Okay, then this car service uh, need to communicate with the location service to get the location details of the car that available. So that's one example for this one. And I hope you guys clear with that. Okay. So then coming outside of here, we have services that enable the microservice architecture. API gateway, as mentioned in the earlier, it working as a single entry point, okay, from which user requests are distributed to a various services, various these back microservices, okay, and to get an idea, I'll give some example for that. Okay, let's say I am trying to communicate to this car service. Okay, so that I have to use this IP addressing and the port of that service. But here what happened is, when the request come into here, this API gateway takes that request and send out the request to a car service. Directly, this application service is not communicate to this car service. Okay, so our application is also being secured because, as I mentioned, we are not exposing these ports and the IPs that we have defined for each service. Okay, I think hope you guys clear up that. I mean, this how this communication happen through the API gateway to services.
Yeah. So guys, please ask, right? If you have any doubt, please ask, because this is a really good example. You can get an idea how this microservice architecture works. And this is a really, really good opportunity, right? If you have any doubt, please ask, right? Just to add what Milind explained, right? So here you can see uh, three large boxes, right? The first one, the board, I think black, right? The very first, I mean, the large box is AWS, right? Just to, it basically is denoting that we are basically, trying to, planning to host this, like, I mean, deploy this solution on AWS, and then under that you can see VPC, So in AWS we have VPCs. It's our private cloud, right? You can say it's a private network. And then we have next box is Ubuntu. So means so we are planning to actually deploy this solution on Ubuntu OS. Okay, and then inside that we have small boxes. I think we didn't explain, but just to like rephrase that. So if you take this microservices, if you focus on microservices box, right, you can find three more boxes inside microservice, right? So if you take first one, it's a car microservice. Remember we explained, right? We explained in previous slide. We are going to develop. We are going to deploy three services, three microservices: car service, location, and reservation. First box, that is the yellow one, is a car service, car microservice. Inside that you can see a, controller, right? And also before that there's a Spring Boot icon. That means so we are basically planning to develop this microservice on using Spring Boot. Okay, so that's the meaning of that. And then inside that we can see three small yellow boxes. First one is controller, second one service, and then third one persistence. Do you really know the meaning of these boxes? What is controller? What is service? What is persistent? Can someone please explain? මං හිතනවා මේ කරලා ඇති. ඔයාලා නේද ලෙක්චර් එකේ කරලා ඇති මේවා. ඩෙෆිනිට්ලි ඔයාලා ස්ප්‍රින්ග් බූට් කරලා තියෙනවා නම් මේක දැනගෙන ඉන්න ඕන. right? කාටට එක්ස්ප්ලেইন කරන්න මොකද්ද control එක? මොකද්ද service එක? මොකද්ද එකෙන් වෙන්නේ? මොකද්ද persistent කියන්නේ? කවුරු හරි please අපිට 20ක් විතර ඉන්නවා. මං හිතනවා අර පරණ පුරුදු නැති වෙයි කියලා දැන් ඈ කට්ටිය ඉන්ටරැක්ට් වෙයි. වැරදුනාට කමක් නැහැ. අපේ වෙලෙන්නේ ඉන්නේ මේක නිකන් ඉන්ටර්විව් එකක් නේ ජොබ් එකක් ගන්න ඉන්ටර්විව් එකක් නෙවෙයි.
Yeah.
මොකද්ද
So
control එක කියන්නේ?
more engagement, you will learn.
Definitely. Can anyone explain please? Yes, we can get. Yeah, we can get.
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. So the controller is that the place where we handle the REST calls on what are the front-end calls. So in the services class, we do like basic operations regarding combination with repositories, also part of that. And persistence, I usually guess it's working with database, some kind of that.
Super. Thank you so much. Yes. This is great. Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. You really explained. You very well explained. Yes. Controller where we place our endpoints, define our endpoints to interact with the other like maybe front end or other services. And service layer is where we define our business logic. Okay. Plus interaction between control and persistent layer. It's a kind of a middle layer. And persistent layer is where we define our data, basically, right? Persistent layer, data layer. It directly interact with your database, right? Very good. Thank you so much, Ranga. And yes, and also you can see in each boxes, right? So in car service we have 3 different boxes, and also location also we have controller, service, persistent. Likewise in reservation also we have 3 boxes, right? That means, so I told you now, one the car microservice is a it's a box indicates as microservice. And inside the microservice, you can see, I mean, you should be able to see these 3 different layers. Okay, 3 different, I would say, packages. If you like go into code level, you can see packages, right? So one package for controller, one package for service, and another for persistent. Super. And then, okay, we covered microservice box, right? And on your right side, you can see MySQL, right? I mean, yeah, since this is a microservice, ideally should have 3 different databases, because you don't want to that's a kind of a rule you can find in my microservice architecture. But in this case, we are using a single database, and but it's still, as meaning to say, so we are not like at database level, we are not like creating any what do you call relationships, right? We are not in between these in among these 3 tables. Let's say we have 3 tables, one for car, one for location, one for reservation. So we don't maintain any relationship among these tables, right? And then on your left side, you can, before that, yeah, so you can see in between, box, microservice box, and MySQL, we have just put JDBC. Focus on these tiny things, right? Then only you can learn. So what is JDBC? JDBC stands for what? Java Database Connectivity. So it's a kind of a library where we use to connect Java to your database. Okay, it's a Java library. So so we are using JDBC to connect to your data source from Java. And also on your basically left side, there are set small boxes, right? First one is Angular, right? So we discussed, right? So our front end will be on Angular. So we develop in Angular. That is why we have this Angular icon here. And also there's a circle, right? It's a brown, like we have what do you call Spring Cloud API Gateway, right? So we discussed, right? So in Spring, microservice architecture, you can find key components, key services. One is API Gateway. So even in that slide also we explained API Gateway is a kind of an entry point to your application. So okay, so all the requests coming from outside will go through API Gateway, right? And see, so there's no direct connection in between an Angular application and car service, right? Car microservice. There's a no direct. It will go through API Gateway. Okay, and there are a lot of benefits of having API Gateway. I think we discussed sometime back, and load balancing and everything you can implement, and authorization and everything you can implement in API Gateway using API Gateway. And also you can see there's a what do you call yes, what do you call yellow icon round here, that is Eureka service. So it's a discovery service. So the discovery service is nothing but it's a kind of a registry. So this guy has all the information of this microservice. What are the microservices running, how many microservices are running, and also their status, whether they are running or not, right? All this information will be there in registry. Okay. And you can see, right? So in between uh, API Gateway and microservices, we have just put REST. REST is the protocol that we're going to use here. What do you call to transfer information, right? In REST we are using JSON here. So we are on HTTP protocol. We are going to use REST. REST is kind of architectural style. Yeah, those are the key basically terms we can find in this particular architecture. Any questions? No? Okay. Yes. Yeah, I think we can go ahead.
Yeah, so now I think we can move into the demo. Okay, so let me on this screen again. Can anyone confirm so you guys can see my
we can see. We can see. Yeah.
so guys now I will show you guys how we can create Spring Boot application using this using this VS Code, and how you can build the Spring Boot application in order to deploy into a AWS environment. So, okay, so before start with the coding, the VS Code, you have to install some extension. Okay, so here if you go to the extension, then you will you have to type Spring, and it will build out the Spring extension pack. Yeah, here we have this one. We have to install this package. Already I have installed. So if you are going to install, then you will get this kind of icon, and you just need to simply click the install button, and you will uh, get this package. So with this, get pages mainly tool and Spring Initial and Spring Boot dashboard. Okay, so here mainly we are going to use this one, Spring Initialize Java support. Okay, so once you install this one, then you have to uh, reload your VS Code. I mean, just close the VS Code and reopen it again. Okay, once you reopen it, then uh, you will have this kind of uh, window. I mean, this kind of okay. So here you have to select this the first icon Explorer, and there you will find this create Java project. Okay, you just need to simply click this one, and Spring Boot initialize the Java support, and you can start. I mean, you can generate the base code with using this package. The whatever you are using, I mean, the web you are using to generate the Spring Boot application, the same happen. The same can do with this extension. Okay, here once you select this one, yeah, here it will ask to select the what type of package you are going to use. So here I am going to use Maven. So once you select this one, it will ask you to select the I mean, it will ask to list down the version, which version you are going to create the Spring Boot. And here I will select this version. Okay, and it will ask for a language, the language that you are going to use. here Java, you have to specify the group name, and once you select this one, I will give like this, and it will ask to give the artifact ID. Okay, once you select this, once you enter the artifact name that you prefer, then you just need to enter, and it will now ask you to specify the package. This is nothing but it there are two options, ja and wa. So this asks, I mean, the meaning of this is if you are going to deploy your application with as a Java, Java or wa package. So that's what he asking, and we have to uh, specify here. So okay, so here I will select Java, and you have to select the Java version, and yeah, this is the more important part. We have to add dependency into our application, I mean Spring Boot application. So here I'm going to use this Lombok dependencies, which yeah, as you can see, which help to reduce some boilerplate code, and we are going to use Spring Web because we will make some REST calls. Okay, and after that we have to use let me, yeah, MySQL driver. So this is the driver where that your database, sorry, microservice using the microservice will use to make a connection to your database. And apart from that, we have to select Spring Data JPA because we are going to use MySQL database, and we have to have Eureka server. Yeah. So this dependency will provide you that two dependencies which I have mentioned: Spring Boot API gateway and the Eureka server. So I will select that one as well. Okay. So once you select the dependencies from the list, you can simply enter, and it will ask you to it will ask the location where you can generate the Spring Boot application. So here I am not doing that one because I already created the services. Okay, so let me open this one. Okay, so following that, I have this API gateway service and the discovery service services, car location and reservation microservices. So hope you guys clear up with this creating Spring Boot application using this VS Code before moving to the, I mean, get some idea of this structure of the each service. Okay, let me how going is yeah, answer time. Okay. Then let's move into this one of service. Okay, car service. Let's look into that. when you initially generate the Spring Boot application, you will only have this car service, the main file, and you have to generate the other files, other packages. Okay, this as mentioned in the solution architecture, we have controller that we are defining the our endpoints, and here the service layer we are defining our business logic. Okay, and we have repository uh, to like since we are going to use MySQL, and we do have this JPA repository. Okay, and apart from these main controller service repository packages, we have DTO, data transfer object package, and model, and configurations file package, and there are some enum package called like to keep the status of the car status. Okay, so yeah, hope you got clear up with this. Do you have any question on this? Here I'm not going to, I mean, in details like how you can create post request and how you can like okay, so okay, so yeah, one thing I have to mention. So here all the configuration that the application need to have, we are defining here. Server port, the application name, and database URL, and we have to define our username and the password, and especially we have to mention this one. We are going to use MySQL JDBC driver. If you didn't mention this one, yeah, then you will get an error while you are building, I mean, while you are running or build this service. Okay, and another thing is I have to mention here line number 14, I have mentioned the Eureka service registry URL. So I will show you guys like how this behaving in a real case. Okay, so we have to so these ports are you can whatever port you are going to use for your case, then you can use that one. So in my case, I have used this one as Eureka port. I mean this Eureka server port and this CALM microservice port. Okay. Yeah, those are the, I mean, key things to mention here. And the same way, I have defined this car service, location service, and the reservation service. Yeah. And one more thing I have to show you guys. Yeah, because I told you guys in the solution architecture there is some service communication, right? So car service communicating to the location service. Okay, so if I go here, so yeah, this is the endpoint which I have implemented for that. So if the user want to get the details of one car, then it will come into this one. And if I go into this service, yeah, here, yeah. So here you can see I have the parameter is the car ID. Based on that, it will first search the, yeah, car, yeah, it's getting, and yeah, here actually I am using there is a, usually in this case, we are not going to use primary keys we have defined in the, usually we are using, we can use UUID, or it's something I use that one. So once we get the UUID, it will pass into here, and you can see, yeah, we are getting UUID, and you can see here I am passing that UUID as a path variable into this URL, and yeah, this URL. So here what happened is, once the request come into the car service, then it will communicate to the location service using this URL. So here we are passing the path variable as a location UID, which is in the car table. Okay, and it will return the response that we want. I mean, here you can see this is the car response. Based on that, it will return the details of one car. So I think you guys clear on this, yeah? Okay, so now let's move into our API gateway. So here again, I will go into this one. So I have used Spring Eureka Service Registry, okay, that dependency. So to make this register in that, have to add this annotation. So enable discovery client. So here, if you go to the form.xml, then you will find the dependency that I have added. Yeah. Here you can see that dependency, and it will enable us to add this annotation to the main API gateway application class. So this is the only thing we have to add to the API gateway, and apart from this one, we have to add routines in the application.properties file. Here again, this API gateway have own port. You can define the same way that we have defined in the car service. Okay, and we have to define this one. Otherwise, this registered into the service discovery class, service discovery. Okay, and you can see here, this is the way that you can define the routes within the API gateway. Based on that, when the request come into the API gateway, it will route to each class based on the request. You can see here. So this URI, this is the car service URI, and this is the ID that you can, I mean, whatever the human readable name, I mean, yeah, you can give the name. Okay. And we have predicates, which means that what are the endpoints that this will allows to route the request. I mean, here you can see this will the path mentioning like this, and here you can see some stars here. So this means that if the request comes to HTTP localhost with this port and /API/cars, and it will such kind of all the requests will be accept using this this one. Yeah, the same way. So you can see here we have defined for the location service and the reservation service, and here again I have defined route to the service discovery service as well. So in that way you can yeah, define. So I think you guys clear this, because no one talking on this. I mean,
yes, if you have any questions, you can ask. But I mean, yeah, we know, like, within 10-15 minutes, it's really hard to,
yeah,
basically learn all the things. But try to get an idea. That is most important thing. Just to, get an idea what are the key components, and you can find, and even in the code level, right? What are the key configurations, and you need to focus on basically, like, key things. Then you can, like, search in Google, and you can try to build your own microservice. So that is the objective. I mean, so learning, within 10-15 minutes, it's really, it's impossible, I would say, right? Microservice. And then, so try to understand at least key things. Any questions, team? I think we can move to do we have like deployed a solution, Melinda? Since we have
yeah.
only I think 5 minutes remaining. So
Yeah.
if
So
you have any team, if you have any questions, you can ask now. Otherwise, we'll move to our running application. Any questions, team?
Yeah.
Yes, Frank. Yeah.
So in here we use another HTTP request to communication between the other microsites, right?
yes,
So if we
yeah.
use like some kind of message queue like Kafka for the
No.
dependencies.
So here I'm using, there is yeah. I forgot to mention that there is a dependency called web plugs. So here you can see, yeah. So this is so yeah, we can use. I mean, there is no point of using the Kafka here, because you can use, but in this case, I'm using this web plugs. This is the just like a REST. Yeah.
Yeah, REST client. Yes, you can use different technologies, Viranga, to communicate in between services, as you mentioned. So we can use Kafka, or maybe some MQs, right? Apache MQ, whatever, or maybe web service, maybe SOAP service, or maybe REST service, as we have implemented. There are, like, different approaches. It's totally based on your architecture and what you need to achieve, right? So any did we answer your question, Viranga, or do you have any?
So, yeah. So that's we use that different architecture. So the deployment is completely changed, right?
Sorry, come again. I didn't get. If you use.
So if you use like different architecture on this microservices, or we use different message passing technologies, so then the deployment may be same or it may be changed, or do we need to use different kind of approach?
Yeah, definitely. Yes, it's totally based on your requirement.
Yeah.
For example, let's say so you have a lot of messages coming and you need lot of messages to send here and there. Then it's Kafka would be a good approach, right? So it's stream service, so you can use Kafka. Or else, let's say so it totally depends on your requirement. You have maybe in this case all these are REST based services, but let's say if you want to integrate with SOAP based service, yeah, then you have to like integrate with SOAP client, right? I mean, lot of approach, lot of ways of integrating services there. So it's totally based on your requirement and what you need to achieve. Any more questions? That's really good, Viranga, you're asking. So others, please ask. Uh, so if you have any questions, this is the time to ask. Anyone else, please? Okay. So we'll move to application demo.
Yeah, and I think I have to show some deployment. I mean, how we can deploy into the AWS, right? Or otherwise, is it okay to them?
Sorry, Milinda, I didn't get. You want to show?
Yeah, the deployment process, how we can do the deployment to a EC2 instance. So
Let's straight away move to
demo.
application, no? Yeah, demo.
Oh,
Because
yeah,
you
yeah.
already
At the
passed,
time.
like, sorry,
Yeah.
9. Yeah.
Yeah. So guys, so yeah, so this is the deployed application on AWS EC2 instance. Okay, so here if I quickly show you that run the instance, yeah, so this is the instance, the EC2 instance, and all the things are deployed here. And if I quickly share, like, okay, so as I mentioned, we have this car and pricing. I mean, the reservation and this home page. Okay, so if I go to the car page, so there are no much data, but it should, yeah, I have to run the uh, services because I think those are in the, oh, yeah. Let me quickly run this. Just try to go to the, yeah. For now, just to get an idea, I will to online. Okay. Yeah. Now let's refresh this one. Yeah. Here you can see. So there is only one car in the database. Okay. If I show you guys the network tab. So here you can see there is some issue with location endpoint because I didn't uh, that service. Okay, and you can see there are some requests going to this car service. So yeah, so that's all about this application. Like
Can
simply you can
yeah, sorry, Milinder. Can you just
avoid
maximize that window?
this.
Hello? Hello?
Oh,
Milinder,
yeah,
go to inspect element. Yeah. I just want to show basically how this request goes. Just
yeah. Okay.
yes. Okay. Go to the request. Just refresh this page and
Yeah, I think
okay.
you can. Oh,
Maximize this div to window.
yeah.
Okay. See, you can see, right? So the first one, these are basically REST code, right? First one, it's in red. The status is 500. That means server error, right? There are like several HTTP status, right? So 500 means server error, internal server error, because we haven't this started, right? The location service is not up and running. That's why you get this error. And if you go to click cast one, yes. And also, I'm pretty sure you have like you're basically familiar with these things, but I'm just telling the request method is get, right? In HTTP world we have like several methods, right? Get, post, put, delete. So here we are using get. That means we are basically pulling data from the service. So go to preview. Preview. Okay, so this is how we get data from our microservice, right? So in JSON format, as you can see, there are several attributes, right? It's a kind of a like it's a what do you call array. So in zeroth element, we can find an object, right? So where you can see ID 0, ID 1, and then car code, some UUID, and then we can see name. So all the attributes will be there in the response. You can actually see the response here. Okay, what you are getting from the service get endpoint. Okay, and yeah, so I mean here we are using Angular as a front end, and let's say if you don't have Angular or any front end application, still you can test your APIs using some client, like for example Postman, right? Postman, and there are like HTTP, there are some other tool, like I mean there are many tools you can test your endpoints, right? Any questions, team? Anything you want to explain more? Any doubt? Anything we missed? Okay. Right. Anything else you want to speak, Melinda? I think we are covered, no?
Yeah, we have covered the
Okay.
so
Right. I think it's a really good session, and so please make sure search more on Google. Try to find basically around more things around this what they have basically shown you. And if you have any questions, please post your questions on our WhatsApp group. And yeah, that's all for today. If you don't have any questions, we can wind up the session.
and if you need the source code, guys, then I can make you that for available. So if you need, then please let know. Then I will share the GitHub link once the uploaded into there.
Okay. Right. Thanks, everyone. Thank you so much for your time. So we'll meet next session. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Bye bye.
Okay, then thank you, guys. Okay.